Texas. Texas. I mean, look, I'm a Texas A&M fan. I'm not gonna flash the horns down right now. I will
I
give him
just
a
did.
giggle. I'll give him a giggle. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, I'll let you go first. I'll let
I
you go
know
first.
this is gonna pain you to talk about Texas because I know how you actually feel about them unbiasedly, and I feel the same way. I believe I'm taking the over on this. I think this 9.5 is criminally low. I think it's only that way because they play Alabama week 2, and like we talked about earlier, Matthew and I off air, I think they have a really damn good chance of going into Alabama and beating them week 2, especially with the quarterback controversy there. I wouldn't say controversy. I would just say question mark there. I think they lose Bijan Robinson, right, and Roshan Johnson, two of the leaders of the team. Bijan might have been the best player in college football last year. Roshan was probably the best leader in college football last year. DeMarvion overshown also to the Cowboys. But damn, this team is good. This team is deep. Steve Sarkisian has done such a good job of just plucking, a transfer here and there and recruiting really, really well. A.D. Mitchell, right, comes over from Georgia. He was going to be the top player, the top wide receiver coming back on a national championship team last year, and he comes over to Texas, and he'll probably be the second or third guy there with Xavier Worthy, and then, I'm super high on Isaiah Neyor, Jordan Whittington's be there, Jonte Cook, right at tight end. Don't even get me started on Tavion Sanders. This team is really, really good. Offensive line, right, was going to be a question mark last year. It was damn good, right? Kelvin Banks is a stud at left tackle. He might be,
He's
you
a
know,
superstar.
he's super.
He's a
Yeah,
superstar.
yeah.
He's a
Now
superstar
Cooper Beebe is a better player than him. I'm going to say that because I love Cooper Beebe, but
right
Kellen Banks
now.
is
Right
right
now he
there
is,
as
but
a sophomore, and he's a left tackle, so a little bit more valuable, protecting Quinn Ewers blind side. I know everybody's expecting Quinn Ewers to take that jump this year. I am too. I'm really on it. I think he's going to be really damn good this year. I think he'll probably be a high draft pick because of how well he's going to play and how many wins Texas is going to have. DJ Campbell, good player. He's going to start somewhere, right? He's finally panning out. He's a former 5-star guy. Cole Hudson, might slide over into center as it started as a right guard last year. Um, yeah, Christian Jones is a good right tackle, 5th-year guy. Offensively, we'll get to the defense later, but offensively, this team is good. And obviously, the most valuable weapon offensively is Steve Sarkisian. And his play design and his play calling and his schemes, I think it's just so good. Running backs I didn't really talk about with Jonathan Brooks. I know you like Jonathan Brooks. But they got good depth. Jaden Blue, right? CJ Baxter's a damn good player. Keelan Robinson, a really, really good change of pace player. I think this Texas team is good.
yeah. And I talked earlier about look, I don't love taking overs if like what if something happens to the starter, right? Can they still do it with the backup? The answer is yes. Malik Murphy is a dude. Okay. Quinn
And it
Ewers
sounds like Arch Manning has been playing well.
better. Oh boy, was that spring game terrible.
I
And I was laughing the entire time. But yeah, key loss, Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson. Who cares? Okay. Do we need to go into the running back room? Do I need to do it? Do I need to bring out the running back room? Let's do it. Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, CJ/Cedric Baxter, Savion Red, Keelan Robinson. Keelan Robinson might be their 4th or 5th string running back. Are you serious? This is a loaded running back room. I don't care if Bijan's gone. I don't care. They didn't even use him all that much. Like when they really needed him. Texas Tech, they didn't even really use him when they needed him. So it's like, I don't know. And I think Steve Sarkisian, he's, I hope he's learned from that, right? And we're 9.5. It's at 9.5 because it's the discount. It's the Bama discount, right? It is the Bama discount. It's Texas. What it really says is you are a 10.5 over under team, right, for the year. But you play Bama at Bama, right? So we're gonna make it 9. We're gonna call it 9.5, right? And expect you to basically only lose one time in the Big 12. Well, they might go undefeated in the Big 12. And okay, and before I even go any further, right? People cannot say that I am just, oh, they do this every year. They do this every year. You can say that, okay? I'll tell you, I bet the under on Texas last year.
Cash.
You bet your butt I did, and I cashed, right? Like I've been there. I've been there to know that, okay, this team doesn't have it. Oh, this team, like, because these teams were not physical. They weren't there yet, right? Coaching was questionable. Maybe they had some talent, but it just for whatever reason, it was not there. I hate to say it, but it's there this year. It really is. The secondary gets
Boy,
a
is
lot
it.
better. The secondary gets a lot better. I mean, yeah, Jalen Catalon. Are people forgetting who this dude was? That dude was a projected early second round pick just a year ago before he got hurt. Right, just a year ago at Arkansas, and now he's transferring over to Texas. I was like, holy cow, that's a gigantic. I don't think people understand how big of a get that was. And
He
Gavin
doesn't even have to
Holmes,
start. He doesn't have to start for
he
him
doesn't even
either.
have to
He can
start.
just go in and fly around like the freak athlete he is.
Yes, and Gavin Holmes, who was a massive transfer, like he could start. He might not also. Like he might just be in the rotation. Like they have depth there. They just have depth at places, and even at linebacker, they're fine. Right? I mean, what Jalen Ford, solid guy. I
Leader.
get they lost Tucker Dorsey, talked about Overshown, but they're fine. I mean, Byron Murphy's good. Like a defensive line is also like something that maybe they haven't always had um a whole lot of talent there, but it feels like they do a little bit, right? Like Byron Murphy's he's pretty good. Devontae Sweat, he's also good as well. So I don't know. This should be a 10-win team, and if Quinn Ewers wasn't even in the picture, this should also still be a 10-win team. So I'm all over it. I took it. Business is business. Sorry if
Again,
any
yeah.
Aggies. Sorry if any Aggies are out there watching, but business is business. So, that's what I had to do. And also, like, you also know what kind of coach Steve Sarkisian is too. Like, wow, such a scary hire, especially as an A&M fan. Now he's coming to the SEC. He's like, you hired Paul Chryst as an analyst. Like, that's pretty wild, right? That's
Yeah.
pretty wild. And also too, like, I think that's a good hire too, because I think like if you have another voice in there saying, because I think there are also some his now he was unbelievable at Bano, but if there was a criticism, and same with Lane Kiffin, but now that was kind of silenced at Ole Miss since he's been there. But knowing when to run the ball is probably like would be if there was a Steve Sarkisian flaw in his offensive play calling, right? Like what game situations should he be running the ball? When you got a guy like Paul Christian there, he'll I think having that other voice telling he knows how to run the ball. He knows how to run the ball. So this is just a really good team. And special teams, I don't think he's going to take any step backs, reasonably so. I don't think they took care of the ball last year, which if they do that again, I think they're fine. I really think this could be a really, really good team. This is not a national championship contending team, but this is a very, very good football team. And they're the best team in the Big 12. They are. I'll say it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the fact that their win total is the same as Oklahoma's, don't let that confuse you. Texas is probably going to be like 10-point favorites. Oklahoma, maybe around a touchdown, right? But
It'll probably be like
it's not.
touchdown.
Yeah, but that's more because it's a rivalry game. But I don't know. I think this team. I think 2024 is probably the year where they actually make the jump to legit championship contenders in the college football playoff. But I think that 2023 is the year to do it because of them being in the Big 12 and being able to get tested early with Bama, right? Sure, they could lose that game and still run the table and then also make the college football playoff where they are battle tested and they are ready to go up against the caliber athlete they're going to see. And I think they have the athletes to match up with them, especially offensively. But the reason why I'm high on them and I'm taking the over is the depth defensively, right? I think, like you talked about Jalen Ford, I think their defensive line is underratedly really, really deep. I mean, they took Trill Carter, right, in the spring. He was a starter at Minnesota for 3 years. And he's going to be like their third string, fourth string defensive tackle. I mean, they have crazy depth there. You talked about, Byron Murphy and Devondre Sweat. They've been awesome in fall camp, where so much so that they've almost had to change some drills because they're doing so well. And it's not because the offensive line is bad. We talked about it earlier.
It's not.
It's a damn good offensive line group. It's just because how disruptive they've been. It'll be about, staying healthy with those key guys. I think Quinn Ewers makes them a championship contender. I think Malik Murphy makes them. They'll still probably win 10 games with Malik Murphy, but yeah, I'd hate for some of those playmakers to get hurt just for the sake of college football and watching elite talents and elite offenses go around. But yeah, I think Tech. I mean, credit to Steve Sarkisian. He's built this program the right way. He saw all those, hotshot head coaches coming to Texas and build it from the outside in. He's built it from the inside out, starting with coaching staff and getting rid of poison in his locker room, right? With coaching or with players, and he's built it from the defensive line and offensive line, and you can still have Lee Town on the outside, like he's had, like through the transfer portal, and Xavier Worthy there. So I don't know. And Quinn Ewers was a transfer portal guy. I don't know. This is a team that I'm really excited to watch for week 2. Bama, it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, we talked about the Bama discount. They could win that game. They could hit this
Yeah.
over with losing that game, but there's a very good chance that they could win that game.
And I think yeah. Oh yeah. And I might, depending on who's starting for Bama, right? I might sprinkle some on Texas. If it's Jalen Milroe, I might really consider sprinkling some on Texas to go in there on the road and cover. But that's a while away from now. We can worry about that when we get there. But I also think this team has,
it's only 3 weeks away,
which is awesome. God, we're so close to college football. But we're also, I think the depth and the talent of this team is good enough to kind of roll over against these Big 12 teams to make sure that they don't have to play their A game and they can still go out and beat BYU. I guess maybe at Baylor, if they don't play their A+ game, they can still play a B- game and win that. Even though I'm pretty high on Baylor, I'm taking their over. I bet Houston at TCU will be a tough game, but they can lose to Bama and lose one other game and still be fine, for that win total over. So yeah, I'm very happy with the over pick here. I'm no complaints that it's at 9.5.